Good morning. I declare the meeting open. I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Cubby people, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We have an apology from Councillor Wegner, but I note that we have the rest of the councillors in attendance. We have one item on today's agenda, MCU 19/0114 and RAL 19/0027, application for a seniors living community, New Croy Golf Clubhouse and facilities and boundary realignment and access easement at 30, 114, 122 and 144 Myall Street, Croy. Since receiving the agenda for this meeting, I understand that the applicant has given formal notice requesting that the decision period be stopped till the 18th of March 2021. Council cannot decide the application while the decision period is stopped. Kerry, I might ask you to elaborate on that for ourselves and also for our viewers.
Yeah, sure. So under the Planning Act, when it commenced in 2017, there was a provision introduced that allowed the applicant to stop any current period, including the decision period. So that's what the applicant's chosen to take up in this instance, and they've stopped it until the 18th of March 2020. Now they can provide a notice at any time restarting that decision period. So whilst it's stopped it on the 18th of March, they may restart it before then. So the Act allows for current periods to be stopped up to a cumulative period of 130 days, and it can be stopped any number of times that the applicant wishes to do so. The intent of it really is about, to give them more time to respond to an information request, or if officers raise issues around a proposal, to allow them time to amend plans or provide additional information for council to consider. So I find it quite highly unusual that they've taken this approach in order to try and defer the matter to a further meeting. And frankly, I think it's an inappropriate use of the provisions. It's not what the Act intended. But nevertheless, they are able to do that. And so it does mean that council cannot decide the application today because the decision period is stopped.
So does the Planning Act not allow you to refuse the deferral, Kerry?
No.
So there are no grounds.
That's right. That's right. There's no grounds for council to try and refuse that stopping of the decision period. It's their choice, and we can't restart it. That is solely at the applicant's discretion.
The only limitation is the number of days that they're allowed to...
Yeah, number of days. There are a few exemptions. They can't stop an application if it's subject to, if a show cause notice has been formally issued, and they can't stop an application during the public notification period. So there are a few exceptions, but what they've proposed is consistent with the Act. It does allow them to stop the decision period.
So does that mean it will appear as a report direct to the ordinary meeting?
At this stage, they've stopped it up until the 18th of March, and the ordinary meeting is on the 18th of March, so no officers wouldn't be reporting the matter until the decision is unstopped or recommences.
I say not coming to committee at this stage.
No, they would have to give us...
Okay, so the notice is later than the committee does.
So my question was, this will appear on the agenda for the ordinary meeting?
No,
it won't.
not unless they look at withdrawing the notice and restarting that decision period. I don't think it's appropriate for us to put a matter on the agenda whilst the matter is stopped and we can't decide.
So what will be? When will the council make a decision on this matter?
We will have to wait to see what the applicant does. It's up to them whether they withdraw it or they let the notice stay in place until the 18th of March.
And if it's on the 18th of March, then I'll put it on the first council agenda after that period, which would be the April round of meetings.
Okay, so the ordinary meeting is the 18th of March.
Yes,
but
it
won't be on that. No. It'll be on the next full round of council meetings.
Unless it's withdrawn, unless we...
So the April round of meetings, as you said.
Unless they change the notice.
Okay.
So the applicants...
Just point of order. I just realised we're in a special general meeting. We should be standing.
Thank you, Councillor Stockwell, for bringing that to our attention.
Kerry, can I ask the applicants...
Point of order, Councillor.
Oh, excuse me. The applicants made note that council officers have omitted key points in their report. Are you aware of what points have been omitted?
No, they've only made that submission that we have omitted information, so they haven't pointed out any particular examples or points that they feel we have omitted. I mean, there's large quotes from the applicant in the report putting forward their point of view around the proposal, so if the applicant provides us details of it, we'll obviously have a look and determine whether we should have provided more information. But at this stage, I think the report's very thorough. But we've got further time to look at it, so we'll do our own review before putting it back to council.
Just a question, since we've raised the issue of some of the issues that were put to us as councillors for justifying the stoppage. Are you happy that the process that led up to the item being placed on today's agenda, following all statutory processes, was open to the public for the required period of time, and that all information as required under the Act is available to both councillors and the community throughout the process from the time it was advertised?
The applicant has met all the application processes. Councillors may recall that we raised issue as to whether the application was properly made because it missed owner's consent. That's been addressed. So they have met all requirements. And in my mind, we're having a special meeting to consider a significant project, and I think that's an appropriate response to such a significant development. It means councils can fully focus on this development as well as spend time talking to the applicant about their points of view. So, I consider that proper process has been followed, so I find it a little bit unusual.
Kerry, when you say unusual, have you come across this before, an applicant undertaking these measures before?
No, this is the first time I've seen an applicant try and stop a decision period in order to determine which council meeting a report's going to. I think that's highly unusual. I've never seen that before. Certainly applicants use it from time to time to respond further time for information requests or provide additional information, but never used in this way.
Yeah, I've never seen it either in terms of once the report's got on the agenda that's being used for that purpose.
So the provisions to stop this period in the DA process, as you mentioned before, was to provide the applicant further time to respond to information request and amend plans. Is there a likelihood that the applicant may submit amendments to the plans?
We've had no advice to that effect that they're proposing that, and certainly we've had numerous discussions with the applicant throughout the application process about the issues that officers saw with the proposed development. They did make some amendments to the access to try and address riparian buffer, but we have no notice that they're proposing further changes.
There are cost implications in delays. Who's paying for them? Do we have a fee structure that looks at imposing additional fees for applicants who do defer the process? And should we?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, our current fees charges do not have that in place. We do have in place, if an applicant changes their application throughout the process significantly, we can charge additional fees for that, but that's not what's occurring. Look, as I've said, this is unusual. It's never happened before, so I think it's something we would have to consider as to whether we do introduce a fee, because it does have cost implications to council, especially sitting today and then another meeting in the future.
Yeah, I'm probably trying to answer the second question. I'm not entirely sure we could. I'll have to go back and have a look at the Act about whether or not we could do that. My gut feeling is no. It's an unfortunate byproduct of the process, but that's my feeling.
If it could be shown that the deferral is vexatious, you would think that perhaps there would be a good case to impose fees?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, I would think, yeah.
Look, I'll move the staff recommendation, or the motion before us, not the staff recommendation, sorry, that Council note the report by the Coordinated Planning to the special meeting dated 25th February 2021 regarding application MCU 19/0114, etc. for a development permit for material change of use. Situated at 30, 114, 122 and 144 Miles Street, Cooroy, and defer consideration of this matter given the applicant has stopped the decision period until the 18th of March 2021, and under the Planning Act 2016, Council is unable to decide the matter while the period is stopped.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you, councillor Hewitt. Councillor Pursuit, to speak to this motion.
No, only that the applicant is undertaking their due process. They have rights under planning law to stop the application and have requested so, and as such I'm happy to appease the matter. I don't believe we have any grounds for any alternative anyway. So.
Thank you. Very much. I'd like to talk to the motion. No? All right. All in favour?